All right, Shalom. I want to start by saying, HALAL, YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, KAKADASH. Double honors to the apostles of Israel, aka the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and love to all the Akim. Continue to preach the truth and all truth and sincerity. All right, so I just came across something, and it was actually on social media from an end time headline, and it says something about the Pentagon warns of future wars that may hit the U.S. soil. Now, as we all know, we're in the time of prophecy. We're in the time of the day of the Lord approaching, and quickly, who the world ignorantly called Jesus Christ, whose name is YAHAWASHI. Everything happening is leading up to that great day. Now, as the days go on, as the days go by, as just like the soap opera said, we getting closer to that day. Point blank. Period. Now, you got one last thing that we're waiting for to really put things into hyperdrive, and that's the MOTB. Now we already have things happening to where you can see that they're gradually getting to it. You know, as far as shit going with privacy, the digital, cashless, getting rid of coins, so on and so forth, making everything digital. So the whole thing with the brain CIPs, you got Neuralink, Elon Musk. You got people that already have the microchip, that have used the microchip to buy and sell. So it's already out there. So we're just really waiting for him to cause all. He cause of all, and that's prophecy. So since people already have it and people have been getting it for many years now, what else is taking place? Now what? They're preparing war. All right? Proclaiming this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. And that's what the nations are doing. And America being Babylon the Great, the daughter of Babylon, which are to be destroyed, now you have more threats looming towards this place being attacked. And I'm going to get right to this article. So this is from Fox News. As from January 26th, was a couple days ago. And it reads, it says, the Pentagon warns future wars may hit U.S. soil as direct military threats grow. Now, who's been threatening America? You've had China threaten America, saying they got something that can touch America. You've had Pakistan say they're working on something that can touch America. You got North Korea talking about they got working on something that can touch America. I'm pretty sure Russia working on something that can touch America. You got these other countries like Russia, China that moved some things over to, I think, in Alaska. That was a couple years back. You got sleeper cells over here somewhere. You got a bunch of vulnerability as being a U.S. soil. All right. So let's dig right into it. It says the Pentagon newly released National Defense Strategy warns that future wars may no longer be fought solely overseas, arguing the U.S. military must be prepared to conduct combat operations directly from the American homeland as adversaries gain the ability to strike the United States itself. Now, here it is. This is from the Pentagon. Why would they put... Now they're putting the threat out there. So, Esau and America and the government, they all about keeping things secret. So why are they now exposing this? Because it's already hook, line, and sinker. They already know this place is going to get attacked. And the prophets of Yahawah BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI have been saying it for years. That America is going to be destroyed. America is going to be destroyed with thermonuclear fire. And what, ironically, are all the nations getting prepared? Thermonuclear weapons. ICBMs, intercontinental ballistic missiles. Missiles that can travel across seas. It says the strategy released Friday evening elevates homeland defense above all other missions, calling for expanded missile defenses, counter-drone systems, cyber capabilities, and long-range strike forces capable of launching decisive operations from U.S. soil. Pentagon planners describe a global threat environment that is faster, more dangerous, and far less forgiving than in past decades. So now it's getting there, man. And now they have to speak on it. We're coming down to the final moments. And all we're really waiting for is the MOTB. And you see they moving that along. They moving that along. And like I said, there's already people that have the MOTB. There's already people that have used the MOTB to buy and sell. So the prophecy is a little bit fulfilled already. But we need that one part where we say he cause of all. And that's why as he continues to gradually get towards this new system, new financial system, cashless society, if you will, all that good stuff, what are they going to be doing in the meantime? Preparing the war for the judgment of receiving that mark. And that's where we at right now. So this is not going to stop. It's not going to be like, oh, it's not going to happen. You got people that think that this is not going to happen at all. You got people that think that they got all these nuclear missiles, they moving all these pieces around the earth, but yet nobody's going to do nothing. But here it is. You already got people fighting. We already have things happen. You got people talking about, oh, World War III is not going to happen. It's already started. We're already in the beginning phases. You have countries, including America, already at battle. They just nobody used a nuclear weapon yet. And you have other countries that haven't really done nothing, but they're all talking about joining the festivities. All right, continuing on. It said the joint force must be ready to deter and, if called upon, to prevail, including the ability to launch decisive operations against targets anywhere, including directly from the U.S. homeland to strategy states. More directly, military threats to the American homeland have also grown in recent years, including nuclear threats, as well as a variety of conventional strike and space, cyber, electromagnetic warfare capabilities it adds. So not just the nukes itself, but what it said, electromagnetic warfare capabilities, cyber, space, blackouts, cyber attacks, social security hacks. You had a couple, was it a year or two ago? You had all American social security numbers hacked, data breaches. You had I think you had some Moabite guy. I don't know if I forget if he worked for the actual government, but he came to find out he was selling secrets to China or giving secret intel to China, but he was in America. It says Russia and China both field intercontinental ballistic. It says Russia and China both field intercontinental ballistic missiles that can reach the continental United States, while North Korea has tested long-range missiles that U.S. officials say are capable of hitting U.S. territory. Iran is not believed to possess intercontinental ballistic missiles capable of reaching U.S. soil, but what? They're in cahoots with Russia. They're in cahoots with China. So they can easily give some of their stuff to China that can hit the U.S. soil. Remember, they're all allied. They're all allied against America. It says, as a result, the Pentagon will prioritize President Donald Trump's planned Golden Dome missiles defense shield with a focus on defeating large missile barrages and other advanced aerial attacks, while also hardening military and key civilian infrastructure against cyber strikes. So against cyber strikes and actual missile strikes. But what we're here to tell you through the spirit and power of Yahawah BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI is you will not prevail. This soil will not prevail. Esau, you will not prevail. You're not going to come out of this on top. In fact, you're going to end up at the very bottom where you belong. America's going to be destroyed. This whole soil is going to be uninhabited, never inhabited again, except for the desert creatures. But aside from man inhabiting this land, this place, man shall not ever inhabit again. After this go around, this land. Damn. Shalom, yo, can you hear me? Because sometimes I got a call just from the plantation. Oh my gosh, bro. Amber. That's not from bullshit. Shalom, can brothers hear me? People hear me? If you can in the chat. The water. So going back to this article, so he said, it says the United States will never be left vulnerable to nuclear blackmail. The strategy says, as it calls for continued modernization of the nation's nuclear deterrent. It says, after years of focusing on a potential conflict with China in the Indo-Pacific, which could possibly happen any moment, the strategy makes clear the Pentagon will seek what it calls a stable peace with Beijing, including expanding military-to-military communications. Matter of fact, let me get something real quick. Get Jeremiah 50. Now, this is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 50, verse 1, and it reads, the word that the Lord YAHAWASHI spake against Babylon and against the land of the Chaldeans by Jeremiah the prophet. Now, it may seem like it's talking about Babylon back then, but this is talking about Babylon right now. Because I believe if it's in the 50th chapter or the 51st chapter, it mentions the daughter of Babylon. And when you go into Isaiah, the 47th chapter, it talks about the daughter of Babylon. That place that dwelleth carelessly. Now, if you go into Babylon, which is now modern day Iraq, it's been inhabited again after Babylon went down, when the Babylonian Empire went down. The Chaldeans, the Babylonians, the Egyptians is now pertaining to this place known as America. When you go into, matter of fact, hold up. What was that, Revelation 11 and 8? So we go into Revelation chapter 11, verse 8. It reads, and their body shall be lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. Now, our Lord, YAHAWASHI, wasn't crucified in Sodom. He wasn't crucified in Egypt. But it said that city that is spiritually Sodom and Egypt, because Egypt means what? Bondage, captivity, slavery, servitude. The same thing when you go into the time of Moses, Egypt, which goes into the people of Ham, which is Mizraim. So that city that's spiritually Sodom and Egypt is talking about America. Same Babylon in Revelation the 18th chapter, talk about America, Babylon the Great. And the same Babylon is talked about in Jeremiah the 50th chapter. I'm going to go back to that. Mm, 50. It says Jeremiah chapter 50 verse 2, and it reads, declare ye among the nations and publish and set up a standard, publish and conceal not. Say Babylon is taken, Bel is confounded, Merodach is broken in pieces, her idols are confounded, her images are broken in pieces. Now, Merodach, that was a time back then in Babylon, but pertaining to now, it says what? The idols. And what are some of the idols in this present time? His AI, his Jesus Christ, his money, his technology, all of the shit that is part of Esau's kingdom. But mainly his money and his technology, man. That's the bread and butter. That's the real idols of Esau. His science, all his little, what he would call his great innovations. But he didn't do shit. It says, for out of the north there cometh up a nation against her, which shall make her land desolate, and none shall dwell therein. They shall remove, they shall depart both man and beast. And even you go into the land, the north, you go into Russia. Because when you go into what was that, Ezekiel the 38th chapter, it says Gog and Magog, which is now modern day Russia. And who is one of America's main adversaries of his own Edomite counterparts? Russia. And now you got a little thing going on with his NATO counterparts, but when you really think about it, they have real issues with Russia, which is what they're like the America of the eastern side of the earth. Verse 4, and it says, in those days and in that time, saith the Lord YAHAWASHI, the children of Israel shall come, and they and the children of Judah together going and weeping. They shall go and seek the Lord their God. They shall ask, the way to Zion with their faces thitherward, saying, come and let us join ourselves to the Lord in a perpetual covenant that shall not be forgotten. And that's starting with the elect. That's going to start with the elect, and that's starting with the elect right now. I hope to be part of the elect. So you have Israel, the men of the Lord, the believers, the true believers on Yahawah BAHASHAM Shai. In this present time, it starts with them. And then the whole nation of Israel will come into the fold. But this place is going to be destroyed. The land of Israel is going to be destroyed and have to be renovated, renewed, because it ain't going to look how it looks now, because those aren't the real Israelites. So, we're getting down to it. And it says, verse 6 says, my people have been lost sheep. Their shepherds have caused them to go astray. And that's what's taking place now. These pork chop pastors. It said they have turned them away on the mountains. They have gone from mountain to hill. They have forgotten their resting place. What? Going behind these heathens. Following all these other gods and these idols. That's what our people are still doing that to this day. What is the main idol our people worship? Money. You talk to Jay, all they talk about, oh, money. I got to get this money. Money, money, money. Hold on one second. This is good God and first in place. Verse 7 of Jeremiah chapter 50 says, all that found them have devoured them. And their adversaries said, we offend not, because they have sinned against the Lord. And that's what these heathen, that's why we don't get no justice. That's why Esau walks around here just doing whatever he wants to Israel, to the real Israelites. And it seems like there's no consequences. But the Lord is tallying it all up. And it's tallying it up. And the judgment is going to be this place get nuked. So that's why you have all these nations, all these countries, including these Edomite countries, getting ready for what? Getting ready to nuke America. So the threat for America is real now. Now, and people still not going. People gonna see this and be like, oh, that's Fox News, oh, that's fake news, but it's from the Pentagon. And when did the Pentagon want to start fear mongering? They always trying to make it sound like everything's okay, but they can't hide no more, because now you have the truth coming out. Everything's being exposed. This shit is about to be on. You got alternative news media bringing out the facts, bringing out the truth. And start with the prophets of Yahawah BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. So now the Pentagon got to do reports about, U.S. military need to start getting ready for war on U.S. soil. Where'd that come from? Oops. I'm going to jump down. I'm going to get to work. I got to get going. So this is Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 9, and it reads, for lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country, and they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken. Their arrows shall be as of a mighty expert man. None shall return in vain. And that's those missiles. Yeah, that's those missiles. And that's the missiles that, what, in this article? He says what? Oops. This fucking stupid tablet. Oh, come on, man. Okay, here we go. It says, it says, we will also be clear-eyed and realistic about the speed, scale, and quality of China's historic military buildup. The document says, our goal is simple, to prevent anyone, including China, from being able to dominate us or our allies. Pentagon planners argue deterrence will rely less on confrontation and more on denying China the ability to win a fight outright, particularly in the Western Pacific, by blocking attempts to dominate U.S. allies or control key maritime routes. But China is not the only concern. You hear that? But China is not the only concern. You damn fucking right. It ain't the only concern. Because the Lord said, all those that could bend the bow, shoot arrows at her. And it said, none shall return in vain. And it said, she'll be like the expert archman. So that means that when they shoot those nukes, it's going to hit their targets. Remember, they got all this with hypersonic and heat seeking and all that type of shit, where it's going to hit its mark. And the main market is America. It says the strategy warns the United States could face multiple crises. Multiple crises at the same time, with adversaries acting together or exploiting moments of distraction, raising the risk that conflicts overseas could overlap and reach the homeland early. They talk about the American homeland. They talk about American soil right now. No more just abroad, overseas. Coming to your home land. And that's prophecy, because why? It's Babylon. The same Babylon talk about in Jeremiah, the 50th chapter, saying shoot them arrows at her. It's talk about that's America. It ain't talk about ancient Babylon, the land of Babylon. It says to manage that risk, the Pentagon is pressing allies to shoulder more of the burden. The strategy calls on European and Indo-Pacific partners to dramatically increase defense spending, freeing U.S. forces to focus on homeland defense and the most dangerous threat. So, but after you wanted to say you wanted to take Greenland, isn't it your allies that talk about fighting against you too? So you see how the Lord is working? You see how YAHAWASHI is pulling the strings? And you ain't just able to just talk your way out of this, Esau. And it's been a long time coming. That virgin whore, the whore that dwelt carelessly, that thought she should not see child loss and what's the one what's the one? What did it say? She should not experience child loss. Hold up. Hold on 1 second. We'll go to preference. My tablet. Yo, okay. What did it say? It said it should not experience. Sit as a widow. That's what it was. Sit as a widow and experience child loss. But you about to be all of that and then some, man. This place is done, and this is clear. This is hard evidence. And remember, if they talk about this in Fox News and talk about this now, that means the situation is way worse. That's why the Lord said, "What? The day is near than ye believed." It said the document also sharpens the Pentagon's focus closer to home, treating border security, drug trafficking, and access to key terrain as core military missions. It calls for readiness to take decisive action against narco-tees, groups, and to protect strategic locations, including the Panama Canal and Greenland. But you said you're trying to take Greenland from Denmark, and Denmark said they're not having it. You talk about protecting it, but you don't have it. It said to keep pace, the Pentagon calls for a rapid rebuild of the U.S. defense industrial base, warning that America must be able to produce weapons and equipment at scale if it hopes to deter or survive a prolonged fight. But you're not. You're not going to survive a prolonged fight. This land is done. Esau, you're done. Because not like, once you eat other Edomites, you can go to war with America, then y'all good. No. It's just that this land, which part of Esau's kingdom should not be inhabited again, and this land shall be utterly destroyed and utterly wasted. But you're not going to have dominion on the earth after America's gone. It said the strategy describes Russia as a serious but declining threat, warning Moscow still poses dangers through its nuclear arsenal, which are those arrows, nuclear missiles, and cyber, space, and undersea capabilities, even as the Pentagon argues Europe is now capable of taking the lead in its own defense. But y'all all gonna have to get with it. Y'all all gonna have to get with it. This is beautiful. Call law Yahawah BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. Call law Yahawah BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. Now, if you want to read from Fox News, so let me go back to the scripture because I gotta get going. So yeah, it's from Fox News. So just all you gotta do is type in Pentagon warns of wars to come to U.S. soil. What would it say? Pentagon warns future wars may hit U.S. soil, and it should pop up. The article is from January 26th, so that's like a couple days ago. Let me get this scripture real quick. Oops. This is Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 10, and it reads, "And Chaldea shall be a spoil. All that spoil her shall be satisfied, save the Lord, YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. Because ye were glad, because ye rejoiced, O ye destroyers of my heritage." Because what happened to us over here? We served slavery. How did America become what it was? Through the slavery of the Israelites. It says, "Because you are grown fat as the heifer at grass, and bellow as bulls. Your mother shall be sure confounded. She that bare you shall be ashamed. Behold, the hindermost of the nations shall be a wilderness, a dry land, and a desert. Because of the wrath of the Lord, it shall not be inhabited." Here, this is talking about Babylon. This is talking about Babylon the Great, the whore Babylon. Same Babylon in Isaiah the 47th chapter. The same Babylon in Revelation the 17th chapter. Revelation, I want to say the 19th and 20th chapter 2. That whore. The one that made the nation drunk off of the wrath of fornication. This place. That's this place. That wasn't ancient Babylon. They didn't get that. They didn't have that kind of influence on the earth and the nations. The nations were made rich and lived deliciously off of the ancient Babylonian empire. All right. So it says, "Because of the wrath of the Lord, it shall not be inhabited, but it shall be wildly desolate. Everyone that goeth by Babylon shall be astonished and hiss at all her plagues." Because what? They're going to see this shit burn the fuck up. They're going to see this burn, baby, burn to the fucking ground. Every acre of this shit. It says, verse 14, Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 14, it says, "Put yourselves in array against Babylon round about, all ye that bend the bow," which is those missiles. Those bows are the missiles. Arrows are the missiles. Modern day missiles. That's going to shoot cross country, cross seas, man. You can't do that with bow and arrows. All right? "All ye that bend the bow, shoot at her. Spare no arrows. For she have sinned against the Lord, YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI." And that's the judgment coming to America. That's what's coming. That's the judgment set for this place. All right? It says, "Shout against," verse 15 says, "Shout against her round about. She have given her hand. Her foundations are fallen. Her walls are thrown down. For it is the vengeance of the Lord. Take vengeance upon her as she have done, do unto her." And you see this place crumbling. You see the cities going. You see the cities, businesses closing down. Cities being desolate. Homelessness running rampant. And these devils still think that somehow this kingdom is just going to continue to exist. They think that America is just going to continue to exist. And no matter how bad it gets, it's just always going to be around. No. But that's prophecy. Because what it says, Psalms 49:11 says what? "Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever." They think they're going to have Europe. They think, well, I don't know if people think America, because now it's like looking like everybody want to nuke this shit. But Americans definitely think that this shit just going to go on forever. Especially dumbass niggas. Our people, they think that this place is going to be around forever. But it's not. Because it's prophecy for it to be destroyed. And you see, the Pentagon is knowledgeable of this threat. And it gotta be something, because now the regular US syndicated news, Fox News, you saying that now the country is at the threat of American soil is out there? And they said within the last couple of years that threat has increased. So that's where we at right now. So, with that, Lord Williams is edifying. I want to make this a little longer, but I got to get going. Get back to the plantation. But, Lord Williams is edifying. I'm going to give all praises to YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, Kagadash. Double honors to the Apostles of Israel, aka the Apostles of Great Millstone. And peace and love to all the Akim. Continue to preach the truth and all truth and sincerity. Shalom.